Okay, time for continue the combat update. I want to start off with a little bit of cleanup here. A few things I've noticed. We bring up the target manager. First of all, we do not need to call get component children here. We can call get component. Since I've reorganized the prefabs for the mobs, the targetable will always be at the top level. That's something. And the other thing I want to do too is I have this escape turning off the target ring. What I want really is to now use my new untarget down here. Okay, so I want to call untarget, and I will pass in the player target. Okay. Now the player target may be, it's possible to be null, in which case no harm is done. We'll come in here and, well, I guess we'll check it right here. Maybe I should fix this. If target, then targetable. There. Okay, no harm done there. That has not been a problem that I've seen, but let's check it real quick. I'll start the game, and first of all, I'll hit escape a couple of times. Then I'll hit this orc, hit escape again. So I've clicked multiple times. I see no errors here. All right, that tells me that that went okay. Just to revamp, what that did was, first of all, we found a target. The player target was untargeted. Our target ring disappeared. But more than that, we got the target ring out of the way and nulled out the player target as part of the untargeting process. Furthermore, subsequent escape characters will just pass in a null to untarget, and that will just skip over all of this stuff. Okay, great. There's that piece. Next thing is looking at I'm trying to get I am trying to get the compiler warnings here. So let me see if I can go and change something out here to get it to do it again. I saw something earlier. All right, it's not giving it to me right now. We'll wait for it later. What I was seeing was that the NPC customization was hiding a parameter. The name parameter inside NPC customization. Let's find it. Here, this one here is hiding the name that's in the game object. So I want to change this to NPC, well, I'll call it NPC name like this, and we will want to change that here. I wish I could have shown you the warning message that caused that to occur. Let's find out if, let me back that up a little bit. Save this. What I want to do before I change that is give me a list of all the references. Okay, I think that was just, it's just giving me every variable name's name, not helping. Okay, now NPC name doesn't exist in this context. So we'll fix this up a little bit. Oh, that should be NPC name. Typo. And I do not see the names down here. So we'll find out what happened here. It is important that, that this stuff does get propagated back down. Mhm. Okay, well, let me just pause this for a second and take a look and see if I can figure out what's going on. I'm not sure, but what might have happened is that the prefab may be initializing the old name. I don't know if that automatically got changed. So let me come over here to orc and see if I can find under keys. Yeah, okay. The names did get zeroed out here. So, and orc should be verified. That is not quite what I was looking for, but that'll be okay. That'll be a good resource. And then Nightshade. Do I not have that NPC customization? Okay, well that one just never got assigned. So let's go back down to mobs, find the NPC customization, drop it down here. Okay, we will save this. Oh, let me bring this over and oops, let's put it back. I want to find the resource and save this. Now I can just go up here to game object really and just say apply changes to prefab. Just getting used to doing it the old way here. Okay, good. We're seeing names now. And oh, I'm looking over there for my other creature, but that is not. And there's a big sword here too. So a few things we need to clean up here. Where's the sword? Iron sword, stone sword. Those can go away. And the Nightshade was missing the extra spawn group that I set up for that. So let me go think about what I'm going to do for that. The reason I did this is I created this new NPC and I wanted to test it out. And I wanted to make sure that animations and swords and everything worked over there. Okay, let this be a good exercise in adding a spawn group, since we haven't done this in a bit. What I want to find is I'm looking for the NPC manager. I don't have that script loaded. So we're back down here, bring that up. Okay. To create a new spawn group, we just have to, first of all, just create a new spawn group right here. So I will spawn groups.add. This will be spawn group 3. New spawn group. And pass in the group ID is going to be 3. The name of the spawn group is Nightshade. Limit 1. Only one mob create there. The spawn time is going to be 40 seconds. Okay. And now I need to create a new, but I need a new NPC up here. So we will, I guess the first thing I'll do here is to create an NPC Nightshade. And then I'll come down here and say NPC types, NPC enum.nightshade equals new NPC type, name Nightshade, type ID is going to be the NPC enum Nightshade. The scale is that Nightshade was a little tall there, so I'm going to bring it down to 0.7f. Prefab name is going to be Nightshade. Oh, 2 of those. All right, what's not happening here? Okay, there it is. Got it. I think it was just the editor is getting a little bit behind me. Okay, so I have the NPC in there as a type. Now I just need to add the spawn to the spawn group. So I'll add an entry to spawn group 3, new spawn entry, NPC type ID is going to be NPC nightshade. So there will be a nightshade with chance 100, 0. Okay, so to recall, this spawn entry will say we will allow nightshades to spawn with a 100% chance at spawn point, and there's no limit to the number that we can put in there. Okay, that should cause it to go there. Now we need to probably tell it what spawn points to use. As I recall, that was done in the editor over here. We would find a likely spot in the scene. And I think I did it over here someplace just to keep it out of range. I'm going to find my terrain object and do a little flattening over here. Okay, I don't want to now find our spawn groups, or really the spawn points, and I'm going to create a new camp here. So create an empty game object, and I'll call that nightshade camp, and I will put that under spawn points. Oh, come on. Okay, no, that's fine. I was just confused there because I need to create a spawn point for that camp. So I will go into my spawns folder and find my spawn point prefab, and I will drag it out here. Okay, that spawn point will be in the nightshade camp. Oops. Rename that to Nightshade SB1. And with that selected, I will bring it up out of the ground a little bit. Now I'm going to have to bake the rebake the terrain because I flattened it. That's going to change reachability. So I'll go back into navigation, and I'll see that not all these areas are reachable. So I'll just have to come down here to the Bake tab and verify these values here. Step height. Okay, all those look fine. So I'll just have to click Bake. Now I'm going to pause the video while this bakes. It's only going to take me a minute or so, but no sense in waiting. This is what the terrain looks like after it's been baked. What you can see is this area over here where it's really rough. It's hard for it to navigate. The elevation change was too much for the NPC. They could have changed his the parameters to let them move up heights more, or it could just flatten things out. You notice there are still areas where it's rough, where the orcs can't go very easily, and they'll avoid the trees too. So that's all about setting the heights and the width and the step parameters. All of that stuff tells us what should be navigable. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that this spawn point right there is reachable. Otherwise, the NPC will sort of be stuck in a non-navigable spot. So let's see what happens if I start the game. I think it should spawn over there. And no, it doesn't. Okay, let's see. What did I forget? Let's check console first for any errors. Argument out of range index. Well, that's a good sign. SP1, nightshade ramp. Okay, let's go back and look at the script. Run spawn point, spawn random. Okay. Take a look at that code then, see if I get a clue. Oh, I think I know what I forgot to do. Let's go check this spawn point. Yeah, I need to actually assign it to a spawn group. There's no way for it to know what spawn group that was in. Let's see if that fixes it. No, it does not. Okay. I'm going to jump in here with a rough edit. The problem turned out to be that the NPC manager hadn't been saved. So I'd made these changes over here in the NPC manager, adding the spawn group in, and I forgot to save the file. So it happens to the best of us. Right now I am debugging a problem where there's no, when I run the game, there's no billboard over it. And sure enough, when I look down here, there's no billboard in the Nightshade class. So the prefab does not have it. It should be appear to hips. Just like the orcs have hips, that. So I want the billboard to be right after Nightshade. So I'm going to take this billboard prefab, and I will drop it right there. Okay, and let's see if that, I don't know if that will change anything. Let me turn off this orc so he doesn't show up. And this Nightshade, I'm going to save the prefab back out, disable this one, and see if we get our Nightshade. Okay, there's the Nightshade. The name does not get set, and the billboard's not in the correct position. Boy, this is ridiculous. The NPC should have an NPC customization that tells us what the name is, and that should get set down on the billboard. If this is the correct, oh, this is the wrong. This is the wrong billboard. Easy enough to fix. I need to update that. I'm going to take this billboard here, duplicate it, take that billboard, drop it down here, and I will rename it billboard. Take this and enable it. I change this to prefab. Turn that off. Turn that back on. Okay, better. Except it's not in the correct spot. Almost there. Let's look at the billboard. If we look at the billboard here, it should be 000. Okay. So again, update the prefab. I'll turn this in here and see if it's, there we go. That's my Nightshade. All right. Sorry for that digression, but it was important to create another spawn group here and go through that whole process. The difference between these things and this prefab here, I should probably write this out, but this is the let me just take this prefab and drop it over here, just in case I use it again. The only difference is this is using the newer text system. So if you have a working prefab, it'll work just fine. But I'm just using the new text asset that I picked up off the store, and I wanted to continue using it because it's a lot more readable. Here, and we can. I'm not sure if it's worth $100, but hopefully I get to use it for a very long time to come, and I'll get my $100 out of it. All right, so I said I was going to do some cleanup, and we've done a bit there. Let's see what else needs to go. I think the next thing I want to work on are weapon models and weapons. I've brought a few in, and we looked at them earlier, but let's go over what they need to let's go over automating the process before getting them in here. The goal was to be able to bring one of these mobs in here and instantiate a weapon prefab. So there's weapon prefabs are here underneath resources. I just need to have the magic values put in. One of the things I want to try though before going forward with this is I want to try one little thing that I haven't done before, but I want to never mind, do this. Okay, let's go find this. And you are not an orc, but that's okay. The name gets reset. So I don't really care what the billboard says underneath here. But if you do, just change it down here. The name gets overwritten when the prefab is initialized so that it matches whatever was in NPC Manager. But I will save this out. Now before, what I did is I stored values inside the Combat Manager. And we see weapon information here, but what we don't see are any position, rotation, scale. None of that is stored with the weapon. That's what I did before. Right now, what I want to do is I'm going to try to put attachment points into the models and see if I can take care of that. I need to abstract away changes between models and abstract away changes between character models and changes between weapon models. And the way I'm going to fix the character model is I'm going to put a transform in the form of a empty game object in the hand. Okay, so I will just create an empty game object underneath the right hand, and I'll just say RH weapon. We'll always rename it later, but this is going to be an attachment point, and you see we get a transform up here. So I will say, what should the transform be? And I will put in some values that I'd saved. Let me pause this, and I'll just populate the transform. And these are some of the values that I got. So this is what looks good with one of the weapons. Now, each weapon needed a little different thing. Some of them had, I noticed, had their models rotated a bit. I think I might have seen one that was flipped 180 degrees on one of the axes. So I'm going to have to adjust for that. Some of them needed to be scaled a little bit. So I'm going to need to have another transform that will be, I'll just adjust the transform for the weapon in the prefab. Okay, because the weapon position should come in a coordinate system for the right-hand weapon. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look for this right-handed weapon. And before, what I was doing is I was finding the hand as the transform that we were going to use. Now I'm going to change that to this weapon. So let's go and find the NPC what was the mod? I think it's going to be something I'm going to do inside the NPC. So what I want to do for the NPC is I want to save off the weapon location. So I'll say I'm going to get a private transform, and I'll call that weapon hand. That's going to be the weapon attach point. And I can, inside the constructor for the NPC, I'm going to, I have the game object already. Now, if you recall, there was a find deep child that we used once before. And I'm going to use that extension again. Weapon hand equals go.transform.find deep child. Okay, this is not part of the stock transform. This is a script that was done earlier, and I will show it to you again. And now it's RH weapon. Look for that thing. Look for a game object with that name. underneath the game object. We only have to do this once, so it's not happening repeatedly. So even though it is doing a string compare, it's only something that happens once. What I meant by that this was a script, let's see, here it is, transform deep child extension. Okay, I will bring it up and show you this. Again, this is something we did before. It just does a depth first search looking for an object with the appropriate name. Okay, so I'm using that inside the NPC constructor to find the weapon attach point. And then we can go and spawn that weapon and attach it there. I'm probably going to want to adjust the weapon so that its coordinates match the we're going to adjust any discrepancies in the weapon position. Okay, so I have a standard attachment point, and ideally the weapon should go in at 0, 0, 0. But if it's not quite right, I'll adjust it. Then everybody's weapon hand, it'll be adjusted per NPC so that it faces the right direction. The same transform for the weapon should take care of any adjustments. For example, if I want it to be further down, if I want them to grab it further down on the handle, or if it's rotated in the wrong position from its default, that's not an NPC change I'm going to make. That's going to be a change to the weapon. So there's two levels of abstraction going on. So how do I get a weapon in place? One of the things I want to do here is I want to double check weapon hand equals null, and I will say debug.log color equals red. I want to see this. Cannot find RH weapon attach point in model 4, and this will be the type ID. Now this will appear this will appear as a print out the enumerated type. So it'll be, say, something like NPC Nightshade, something like that. Okay, so we will see the actual NPC name in that message if it happens. To look here, first thing I'll do, let me just misspell the name. I intentionally misspelled it, so we'll see the error message. Okay, come back here, look at the console, and now we see the attached points there. So you see what the messages look like. It's very clear, it takes us right to the model, and then we can look to see what's going on here. Right. And when I, yeah, the script should be okay. It'll be that the model doesn't have that. So I'll take this back out, save it, and we will run it to see now if it's spelled correctly, if it shows up. And I still don't see it. So let's go ahead and debug this now. You know, I think I'm fighting off a cold right here, and it's making me stupid. So please understand. You know, I know this is flu season going around here. I am making all sorts of stupid mistakes here. I don't believe I saved this prefab back out. So we're going to muddle through this. No, still wrong. No, wait, that's correct. I just need to get the, I need to add it to the orc now. So Nightshade is good. You know, so I'm going to take this weapon and attach point. I'm going to, well, I'm going to duplicate it a bit and save it, but I'm going to open up this. I happen to remember that the hands are down underneath the, go down the spine. There's where the hand is. So I can come over here, take this weapon attach point, Control D to duplicate, drag this up here, and drop it on the hand. Now I'll be sure to rename it so the name is found correctly. And I will hit enter, save this out. And I don't think that this disabling here has any effect on this. I think it'll be just fine. Yeah, see, that didn't prevent the orcs from spawning. Well, I have two nightshades over there. Oh, because one of them is no more error messages. Good. turn this static nightshade off. I'm keeping it around so I can adjust the prefabs. Okay, great. Now, so far nobody has any weapons, but I've got attachment points, so that's a good start. Now, in the NPC constructor, when I'm going to do this, I'm going to want to instantiate the prefab and attach it to this. But not every NPC is going to have is going to be using a weapon. Some of them are going to be spellcasters, like the elemental orcs. So I don't want to just blindly hand weapons to everybody. Let's go and get some idea of whether they're used weapons or not. One thing we want to do is to have some sort of attack type that we'll define per NPC. Now in the future, I should be able to, ideally we would have multiple attack types so that somebody could be a spellcaster and have a weapon that they could use, maybe a dagger or something like that. For right now, I'm going to give them just one or the other and live with the consequences. Okay, so I'll just come up over here where this weapon type is, and I'll just add an attack type down here. Public enum attack type. And this will tell us what type of an attack is being made. Attack weapon and attack spell. Spellcasting will not be part of the combat, but it will be enough that if somebody is to tell us that we're not going to be, don't run melee attacks. Okay, run the spellcaster animations, you send it off to wherever the spell is handling. Spells are not, magic are not part of this video. But I do want to be able to at least identify who has a weapon and who doesn't. To do that, I'm going to need to now extend the prefab type for the creatures. Okay, we have all the weapons down here, but what about the NPCs? Do we know from here who uses weapons and who doesn't? Okay, so that will come over here to the NPC manager and to look at the properties for each NPC. Here we have the ones so far. I'm going to add a few more. First of all, prefab name scale. I want to know what the attack type is. So public and combat manager dot. Did I not save it? No, I did. There's my public enumeration. It might be that MonoDevelop might be running a little bit behind. Yeah, there's my attack type. Come on, give me a choice. Oh, this is a type. Right, I just want to say the type, and this is going to be called attack type. I want to know the attack range. Public float, attack range. How close do we need to get? Archery, it's going to be a distant weapon. Some of them are going to need to be close in. I want to add it. I'm going to want to put in something for the aggro and the de-aggro range. Maybe I should take care of that a little bit later. Let's just spawn the weapon and get it attached. Right now, aggro and de-aggro are hard-coded inside the controller. Okay, so if I come down here, we see these 40s and 2s and all that. That needs to be taken out. We need to be able to look those up per NPC. Some of them will, like a spellcaster, they're not going to wait till they get in within melee range before they attack. They're going to be attacking far out. So those values should come out of the NPC. But not right now. Right now we have an attack range and we have an attack type. Attack type is enough to get us to get the weapon attached. But we'll need to go in and change the NPC types down here. Right now I put everything in the constructor, and that seemed really good when it was a small amount, but quickly I see that's not going to be the case. So I'm going to use a different way of doing things, and I'm going to just update the array entry directly. Okay, NPC num dot orc dot, and I have my attack type will equal combat manager attack weapon. and on an attack range. I'll do the first one here in front of you. Attack range. Let's see, what would be a range? We will make this range if we get within 3. So I'm now going to fill this in for the other creatures, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, and here they are all filled out. So the elemental orc is the only one that does spell casting right now. I'm going to be doing my testing right now with Nightshade, and the reason is that I don't have the ability to aggro just one creature. I'll have to do that from the keyboard command later on. If I'll turn on aggro, and if I take my invulnerability off, what will happen is when I get within range, all of 3 of those orcs are going to come over and beat on me. And I guess I could disable a couple of them, but the easier thing was just to create another NPC out at a little safer distance. Experiment with that one, and then I'll worry about the other orcs later. So, do I have enough to spawn a weapon yet? Well, let's find out. I suppose I should ask what weapon, and that's probably another NPC attribute that we should make. Every NPC should have its own weapon or preferred weapon. So I'm going to come down here, and I want the weapon here, which is a combat manager dot weapon type. All right, so that will take care of here, and I'll just come down here and add the weapon type in here. So let me just do that for one of these, and I'll do the rest with being paused. Okay, weapon type dot, and the orc, I'll give him a stone pick. Okay, so we pause this, and that's what it looks like with weapons. Note that I gave the elemental orc a weapon. I don't like uninitialized variables. I could create a new weapon type that's weapon none or something like that, but I promise weapons are not going to be used with somebody who has an attack spell. We're not going to equip them. There won't be an equipped weapon, therefore melee won't be able to find any stats. But I just want to fill that in with something. That's a good case, though. We might give it a dagger or something later. All right, so we know it uses a weapon, we know what type of a weapon is, and we should be able to get the prefab from the combat manager then. So I'm looking for it. Come on, combat manager. Notice it's the weapon. Well, I have a name for it. I do not have a prefab for it. So that's probably something we should add. All right, so if I go back over here and see, where is the weapon data? That's down here. So I'm going to add in a couple of those public string prefab. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to need to have some per weapon offsets on this public vector3 position, public vector3 not image position. I don't believe I did that. Okay. Rotation. No, it's automatically setting. Do you not know I'm declaring a variable? Something weird's going on here with Unity. And then scale. Public vector3 scale. Okay. So those values are set there per weapon. If we come back up here, we can now fill them in. I will start with 0, 0, 0, which is sort of an identity transform. Okay, no rotation, no position offsets, no scaling, and then I'll adjust them as needed. So let's start with stone pick. I'll do one of those, and then I'll pause the video and fill in the rest. So I'll start with that and say dot prefab equals, and the stone pick, I think, was weapons club 3. Note that, just a side here, all of the weapons were stored underneath resources. So I gave them a separate directory. I have to put that in the instantiate command, which means then I need to have the path to it here. Not a problem. Happy to have it stored in its little spot here. And I will then, of course, want to set the position equals new vector 3 0 0 0 f 0 f 0 f. Oh, come on, back up. Paste. Ooh. I had copied and pasted, and oh, it's okay. Rotation. Scale. Okay, that is a good set right there. So I'll fill in the rest and come back. Okay, and this is the get that out of there. This is the filled in one. Now, this may be a very stupid way of doing things. I may regret it later and feel bad, but this is the best way I can think of right now off the top of my head, not having done this type of stuff before. I think it's important to be able to make adjustments in the weapon space, in the, the attachment, how far down on the weapon do we grab things, how we rotate the weapon. I don't know what those values are going to be yet, but I'm going to get them once they're in the game. But I also know that the NPCs are going to need to have some adjustments. I can't just put them in the hand with the hand orientation. I have to turn them relative to the hand. So that's why I have all of this stuff. I can add more weapons in later. It's pretty easy to extend this. But I'll see, what do I need to do to instantiate a weapon? One thing I'm going to need to do before bringing in the physical model or addition to it is going back over to the mob. I want to keep some information for each mob. I want to know two things. One, I want to know what weapons equipped. Well, I already have that, but I also want to have the weapon speed. I don't think I put that down here. So public float weapon speed. Or did I make those integers? I think I did, but I'll leave them as floats for right now. I'm not going to debate that there. I made him part of the mob class. I'm just working with NPCs right now, but the player's going to have a weapon, the weapon's going to have a speed. We're going to need to have that for cooldowns. So coming down here, I see if the weapon hand is null, do this. Else, I know that there is a weapon position, and you know it's not the hand, it's the attachment point. Here, we just change that. Okay, so it knows that I have the attachment point. I want to set the weapon speed and equipped weapon. So equipped weapon is accessible to me as, for my base class. So I'll want to say what's the current weapon that this NPC uses. I'll need to get that from the NPC manager. So back and forth we go. But this is clearly something that an NPC managers have. It's going to be a property of the NPC. So like all these other things down here, I'm just going to add some more stuff in here. Public, an attack type for an NPC is going to be a combat manager dot attack type, give attack type. And that's going to be for an NPC enum, NPC type ID. I could probably make some sort of an accessor for it, but not right now. NPC type ID dot attack type. So I'm going to pause the video and put in a couple of more accessors for relevant stuff. Okay, and I think these three here are enough to get started here. The attack type, the attack range, the weapon type. So I should be able to use that inside the constructor. So I say it's the equipped weapon. I will need to, what I'm going to say here is NPC manager dot instance dot get weapon type and my type ID. So that is going to save that the attack range is, do I store that right now? Let me see about this. Did I did store the weapon speed. That's probably the other one that I need to store here. So weapon speed equals NPC manager dot, well actually that might be a combat manager job. Yeah, the weapon speed is a combat manager thing. So I'm looking through this, I don't see it. All right, so some public speed was what here? Sorry, I'm bouncing up and down here. Speed's an int get weapon speed, and that would be a weapon type T, return weapon sub T dot hello. Why are you not going to? Sometimes, see, I had to close off that function before it could do that. That's a mono developed weirdness. I want speed. Yeah. I'll need to have that. Probably need other things like the prefab name 2, public int get weapon prefab, or I might make that a combat manager. Maybe I don't need to use it outside this. I do need to have speed for sure. I could probably ask the combat manager to instantiate the weapon. Go back down here, weapon speed, NPC manager, combat manager dot instance dot get weapon speed, and that's going to be the equipped weapon. Okay, those are two very relevant pieces of information that will change each time the weapon changes. And from the rest of it here, I think we can probably pass this off to the combat manager. And I'm going to add another function over here. I think it's a better job. It's going to need things like positions and scale. It's going to need access to all those variables. So there's probably no reason why I shouldn't let it do this. Public void equip weapon, and this will be I'll need to pass it in two things. One is the NPC, and the other is the weapon type. Okay. And its job now will be to actually spawn the weapon. Okay, getting real close now. Getting real close. For some reason, I wanted to have the weapon prefab in a separate string. I believe that there was a problem getting it from an accessor, that the instantiation couldn't work. T dot, I'll make the code a little bit easier to read. See if we can access the weapon data right now directly. And I want to create the game object equals, now I'm going to call, here I'll show you, game object dot instantiate, and I will say resources dot load, and then the weapon prefab. And that will return an object. Pretty sure that returns an object. I'm going to need to cast it to a game object. Right, so that will cause the thing to pop into the world. Does it get set to the right spot. I don't know. We have to. We'll need to get the attachment point. Oh, the NPC is that transform dot attach point equals, and we'll come back over to the NPC. I know it feels like bouncing back and forth, but they both need to be able to do stuff. Maybe it should be in the mob actually, rather than the. And well, no, only the NPCs are going to have attachments. No, the player will too. All right, so the weapon attach, I'll move it later. It's a variable that's part of the NPC. So public transform get weapon attach will return weapon attach. Oops. Okay, and recall that weapon attach was the RH weapon, so it went and located that. Got the transform, which gives us the position, rotation, and scale of where I want the weapon to be in the world. And that will be in hand space since it's attached to the hand. That is now made available to whoever has a reference to the NPC. You can ask for the attachment point. They'll get a transform back. Back to the combat manager. And see, I was asking for NPC get weapon attachment. And now I have my attach point here. Okay, now I'm good to go here. I have a reference to the weapon here. This is the game object that I just created. I want to parent it. So parent is a function of transform. Parent equals, and this is going to be the attach point. Okay, now it's attached to the hand. It may be located in some other part of the world, but it moves now with the parent. I will need to update the transform here. And let's start with the rotation. I'll use local rotation. And I can go ahead and just store into this because there's a setter. I am storing the rotation as a vector 3. Those are Euler angles. Internally, these things are supposed to be stored as quaternions, so I'm going to need to call quaternion Euler, and it wants a vector 3, which I happen to have, is weapons t dot rotation. Good. And the position. Well, position equals weapon sub t dot position, and weapon transform dot local scale equals weapon sub t dot scale. All right. Now, once this is called, the weapon should appear in the hand and in reasonably correct position. If it does not, I will come in here and adjust these local position, rotation, and scale so it looks good. Okay. So let me make a quick check over here to see if I have any unsaved files like this one. Is that that's a real time waster? I mean, I could probably just save all here. That would get the job done. All right, back to the game and fire it off. Hope for the best. I think they might. Do they have weapons? I don't see. I do not see any weapons. All right, what happened here? All right, so some call is not being made. And it took me about 5 seconds to find it. I was thinking it was going to take longer. I never made the call to the combat manager here. Dot instance dot equip weapon, and it wants an NPC, which is this, and it wants a weapon type, which is equipped weapon. seeing any weapons. Not good. Let's see what could be going on here. No error messages here. The reason I'm puzzled by that is I would have expected error message like, I can't find the prefab name, or something along those lines. But did the NPC get created? That constructor was being called before, because we needed its spawn point and all that stuff. And we saw the attachment error messages before when I intentionally misspelled this. So it's seeing that. We're getting weapon type, combat manager. Let's come down here to equip weapon and log npc plus npc.getName. Do not have, or maybe it's access through that plus and I'll just put the prefab name, I guess. All right. Check to see if we always check for errors. Debug.log. Color equals red. Cannot instantiate weapon plus weapon prefab. And I'll just return. No point in doing that if the weapon is null. Although if it was null, I would have gotten null references there. So I may need to do an extended debugging session here if this does not clear up. Okay. Weapon Club 3 being attached to my Nightshade. All these weapon equips are being done. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, this is a useful thing to do, is hit pause. Okay, we go back in here. Now, I'm looking over here in the, here are the cloned guys. These are the dynamically spawned things. So if I pick one of my orcs, and if I open him up, it's hard to see in this color here. Okay, there is the club, there's the weapon. It's parented to this. I'm going to click this and, okay, local position 000. Weapon, I assume that's okay. Let's go and look at it in the world here. First of all, show it to me. What in the world is it doing out there? That is so not correct. Alright, so where is the right hand? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the transform. So the weapons, the hand is over here. And the weapon should have appeared here. And why is he in a T pose? Oh, because he's in the scene. That's fine. Where is this guy? That's the wrong orc anyway. What I want to do is I want to see. Let me find a different orc. Which one is this? Okay, this one is that guy right over here. So let's open him up. Spine, 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 right shoulder, right arm, right forearm, the right hand weapon, and right hand weapon is someplace. Here's the hand. That looks good. The right hand weapon. Reset that transform. Alright. Where's my weapon? Claims the weapon's over here. I don't see a whole lot on this weapon. It has a mesh. Render looks okay. Why do I not see it? I apologize if I'm being blind here, but that's really weird. Because if I take Club 3 and drag it into the scene, it's right there. Okay. So this orc right here has a clone of Club 3, which it says is right there. Oh, what is the scale? 0. Oh, I don't believe that. There we go. So I set the scales all 0. All right, but it's also clear to me that the transform information I put in there looks out of place. So I will have to adjust that. Now when I go take pause off, it's going to, well, he stores his weapon. That's good. But those values are going to disappear. That's not quite what I want to see for a weapon. Okay, that's why I need to have the rotations to rotate them back out. If I come back into this, now the nice thing about doing this while we're paused is he's not in his T-pose. Okay, so what I can do then is I can take the weapon, make sure it's selected, set the rotation, and now I'm going to need to make some adjustments. Rotate it up that way, translate it down, translate it into the hand. Needs to rotate some more. Maybe over this way a bit. Okay. Probably should rotate it just a little bit that way. The pinky looks weird. Okay, that's not bad. I'll bring it a little bit down further. So that looks good. So this is what I mean by rotate. Oh, the pick is facing the wrong way. Okay. Be careful he doesn't get too far down because he'll put it through the ground. Alright, so this is the values that I should have for my weapon-specific stuff. Okay, because clearly the hand, well, the hand is saying 0, 0, 0. So I'll have to pause and fix this here. Probably should have shown you what I did. I went down here and I took and copied the component, went back up here to right-hand weapon attachment, pasted it in. So it looks out of place. But if I come back down here and reset this component, he'll attach back into its space. Alright. So that means then that I can take this value here, copy the component, and this is the find my orc that's disabled. That's this guy right here. I'm going to take and paste the component values here, adjust the transform, and I will, oh, actually I can't, I still have it on my clipboard, okay, so I still have it copied. I can't do anything more until the game stops, and then I can go back in here and paste for real, because those values are not serialized. Okay, that looks good. Now I can take this orc, go back up to the game object, and apply the changes to the prefab. Partway done. I need to go back up here and set the scales on these weapons all to 1. I can't believe I didn't spot that. Got carried away with my 000 stuff. Now I still reserve this 000 for any weapon space adjustments. If one weapon doesn't look right, we're bound to have one weapon, like this club here will probably be my reference weapon. It is going to look good because I will adjust the hand until it looks right. But then if I pick another weapon and that weapon looks wrong, I will adjust the local scale, position, and rotation for the weapon so it looks right. And I think that's the best way that I can get to keep everything looking good. So adjusting that, I will now start the game back up. And they have picks. Not quite right. Well, that's not too bad. He's going. That's pretty close. I can make some fine-tooth adjustments, but I could also argue that if I'm to the point where further back here it looks like it's free losing his hand, I should move it up into his hand a little bit further. But if I have time to pay that close attention to how that weapon is looking, that orc isn't beating on me hard enough. Okay, if once we're in the heat of battle, I don't think I have time to notice it, but I can definitely see the gap between his thumb and that weapon. That bothers me. So best way to fix that again is to come back down here. I can clearly see the gap. Highlight the weapon, and actually I want to highlight the. Here, look, where are you? There we are. This is the orc involved. I'm going to highlight the weapon attach point. That looks like he's going right through his hand. It looks like he's going through his leg too. But I can copy this component, stop the game, go back to the attachment point in my orc, that is, paste these new values in, apply the changes of the prefab, and look again. So this iterative tuning should be done until the weapon looks okay. All right, I'll buy that for right now. That's good. So the weapon models in the game, and all the attributes are stored for the weapons. So I think we're a little over an hour here. It's a good stopping point. That's a good chunk of stuff done there. It almost looks like for real. What I could do is to actually what we could do is start respawning I want to, if I get a boss orc, I think he has a different weapon. Of course, he won't show up when I'm out here. I don't believe my luck. I think it was showing up all the time earlier. Unless the name is No, that can't be. He was... Alright, let me go back to the console and take a look. Oh, no. There is a problem with the names. I'm going to have to track that down because these, I'm seeing elemental orcs here. I do not see a single one. That's possible that they don't. Yeah. So I will have to go and find out what's going on with that. That should have been overridden by the NPC customization right in here. Okay, that is going to drill down until it finds the component. So it's going to find the billboard. Let me check to see that we find the billboard is a little bit deeper, so maybe I should use my find deep thing. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, I've determined that the code is being called to update the names, so it's finding all the components, but I come down here to the spawning, and remember how I changed that variable name? I did that because it was hiding name. Name is already being used for objects. So what I want to do is to use sort NPC name. That should be how it's being overridden. So it's a problem in the zone manager. Let's see if that works. Ah, there we go. Okay. Now we have the names. Now if we look at it, the boss orc has a sword. It's hard to see. The elemental orc has a pick. I haven't put in code that takes away his weapons yet. He should only get that if he has a weapon attack. But that's good. Okay, so that's enough for today, and we'll pick up next time with a little bit more, almost done. Got a lot done now, but the fact we have weapon models in is good, so we'll continue on next time.